family and I go grocery shopping, I drive the cart. Like a race car. My little brother, who is strapped into the front, knows to hold on for dear life as I zoom in and out of the aisles till I screech past my green organic finish lines. Why do I race past everything else? Am I crazy? Yes, I'm crazy for organic food. Why? Because I've learned that eating organic is a matter of life and death. Because of this, organic food is the stronger and safer fuel for our bodies. I'd like to share with you first how I found that the growth of organic and non-organic food are very different. Second, how organic food has better nutrition. And third, how organic food doesn't have harmful chemicals. To be an informed consumer, we have to make sure we're comparing apples with apples. To do so, we need to know that when comparing non-organic and organic farming, there are two very different growing procedures, from seed to stand. From the outside, an organic and a non-organic apple look a lot alike, and so do tomatoes. But let's take the conventionally grown tomato back to the time its seed was planted. As we will talk about later, its seed is planted in soil that has not been given time to rest and rejuvenate, and thus does not have the nutrients it needs for the seed to feed on. Meanwhile, it was sprayed with pesticides, insecticides, and other harmful chemicals that kill the bugs that harm the plant, but thus hindered its natural growth, while harming the plant itself. Then this undernourished and overtreated tomato is sitting in the grocery store, where we buy it thinking we are eating healthier, instead of buying a candy bar at the checkout. But this tomato is full of dangerous chemicals, while empty of proper nutrition. In contrast, organic farming plants that tomato seed in nutrient-rich soil, and it does not use chemicals to make their fruit look juicy and grow faster, but wait patiently for the fruit to grow at the pace God meant for it to fully mature. They use trap plants to draw away the insects from the valuable crops. They use insects that are harmless to eat the insects that are harmful. So when organic food arrives at the store, it has fed on rich soil, while ripened to full growth, while free of chemicals that would harm our bodies. In a New York Times article entitled "Farming Without Chemicals, Age-Old Technology is Becoming the State of the Art," Keith Snyder shares how many organic farmers across the nation are successfully growing nutrient-rich and chemical-free produce. Farmers in Iowa plant rye after the corn harvest and let it decompose over winter to create a natural weed-killing material that makes chemical herbicides unnecessary. In California, farmers plant catnip between rows of vegetables to drive away destructive insects. In Minnesota, planting oats, which grow thick and strong, crowds out weeds. Then planting oats with alfalfa adds nitrogen to the soil. So when corn is planted again on the same land 2 to 5 years later, it is rich with nutrients. So the organic and non-organic growing processes are very different, so much so that the government requires a careful identification system so you know what you're eating. When shopping, look for the number 9 before the other number on the barcode, and the USDA Organic Certified on the labels. These labels are telling us that these two farming procedures give us very different breakfasts, lunches, and dinners. Only organic food is carefully grown to supply our bodies with the best nutrition we need. Any commander of an army wants his troops to be nourished and strong, ready to fight the opponent and win. Our immune system is our army. It fights for us and keeps us safe from sickness. We want our immune system defenses to be ready for any attack. And organic food is much more effective to supply our body with the best nutrition we need. Writing for National Public Radio's website, in her article, "Organic More Nutritious? New Study Adds to the Evidence," Alison Aubrey shares the findings from 2 different studies published by the British Journal of Nutrition, are part of a growing body of evidence documenting how farming methods can influence the nutritional content of foods. One of those studies shares that organic food has higher concentrations of a range of antioxidants and other beneficial compounds. Steve Merowitz of Sproutman.com featured in PBS and Food Network notes that there is mounting evidence that organically grown food generates more nutrients and fewer nitrates. He goes on to say that in a 2002 University of Missouri study, chemists were shocked to discover that the smaller organically grown lunches delivered 30% more vitamin C than the larger conventionally grown ones. Because of this, my family and I can taste the nutrients, and we don't end up having to add so much salt and sugar to find flavor it should have. It tastes amazing to eat clean. But one may ask, I thought all food had nutrition in it. Yes, to some extent that is true. But you have to remember that the tomato we are eating today is not the same tomato that our grandparents ate. With conventional farming, the soil is so taxed that it is deficient in nutrition itself and cannot supply the plants with the nutrients it needs for proper nutrition. That is why farmers know to feed their livestock supplements, because they know they are not getting the nutrients they need from the food. We do not give the land a time to rest, so it is exhausted. And so our country has had things like the Dust Bowl, and so our food is grown in soil that is more like dust than dirt. Organic food allows the land a time to rest. It's really the difference between microwave popcorn and stove-simmered soup. Only the soup really has much nutritional value. Even an LA Times article entitled "Organic is More Nutritious," according to a review of 340 studies by Montemorn, shows that the researchers of these studies found that conventional food had higher concentrations of residual pesticides. This leads us to the other benefit of eating organic food. Only organic food does not come into you full of poisons. Remember the story of the Trojan horse. After a long, hard war, the Trojans pulled a huge wooden horse into their city, thinking that it was a trophy and they had won the war. They also unknowingly brought with them Greek soldiers, hidden inside the belly of the horse, who sneaked out in the middle of the night and destroyed the city from inside. Similarly, non-organically grown food looks safe, but when we let it in through our bodies, it secretly brings with it toxic poisons that compromise our immune system and damages our internal organs. We all have dormant cancer cells in our bodies. The reason we all haven't gotten cancer is because our immune system is strong enough to fight against these cells and keep them at bay. But when we eat non-organic food, we let in the Trojan horse, and enemy forces gather over time in our bodies and cause them to break down, especially our livers, vital to the cleansing of the rest of our bodies. And it takes over our God-given immune system to fight other environmentally toxic invaders. Dr. Bergson, MD, and featured in the Best Physicians in Los Angeles in the LA Magazine notes that there comes a time when a person's immune system just can't handle any more insults and becomes completely overwhelmed. This point is related best by the straw that broke the camel's back concept. She goes on to say that when your toxic threshold is reached, the poisons and microbes start having their way. One example of these chemicals is the chemical perchlorate, which is a component of rocket fuel and fireworks. But it is nothing to light up over. It alters our thyroid hormones, resulting in brain and developmental issues in children and metabolism regulation problems in adults. There are so many environmentally toxic invaders attacking us from the outside world, like pollution and chemicals in the water and air. Eating organic food keeps out the Trojan horse to give us a fighting chance to survive and thrive. I have personally experienced the differences of eating organic food. A year ago, my family and I began eating organic food because we were trying to heal my mother from cancer. The doctors didn't know what caused the disease, but we know from the Gerson therapy that toxicity and deficiency in her body was the main means of a growing cancer. Because we started too late, our attempts to heal her were unsuccessful. But our father and us, we are determined to eat organic because we do not want my siblings and I to get what my mother had. Because of this change in our diet, we have all found we feel better all the time as we strengthen our body with top-grade fuel and protect it from poisons. I have experienced an important lesson. The organic food is the stronger and safer fuel for our bodies. Thank you.